Hello, I'm John Liu, Flow Ninja here. Haven't done a video for a while. Today I want to show you guys what we have been building in a Flow Studio, and we have built this Flow Studio MCP. And the reason for this tool is that we want your agents, whether that's GitHub Copilot, Claude, or any other agent, to be able to use this MCP and talk to your entire Power Automate platform. And so in this video, we want to cover how do you get started very quickly, uh, and then what are some of the simple queries you could do to start exploring your environment. And then in future videos, we'll go into more in-depth examples of how you can use the MCP. Okay, let's get started. First, you'll want to come to our new website, mcp.flowstudio.app. You can start for free. Just go for free. And you'll be asked to log in. So log into your account. Then we'll load up a dashboard. So I've run this previously, so you've seen there's some codes, but yours will be zero usage. And first thing you need to do is you need to grant Flow Studio, the MCP server, access to your Power Platform on your behalf. So for me, there are actually two endpoints that we use. We use the a Power Automate endpoint, but we also use a Power Apps endpoint, and it's just to read the environments and the connections. So you need to grant this twice. Okay. Because I've granted already, you did not get the consent prompt, but the consent will basically ask that, hey, do you allow Flow Studio to access Power Automate? And this one will be Power Apps to access them on your behalf. I previously granted them, so it's not asking the consent. If you have used Flow Studio app before, you may discover similar experience where you're not asked consent. Okay, once you've done this, we generate a key, an XAPI key. So basically, when you talk to the MCP with this key, the MCP knows to use the key to associate to your account, and then to use that to go and talk to your tenant. So let me just copy this bit. Now the this config settings is similar but slightly different based on what you're using. If you're using Claude, then this is the right format. If you're using GitHub Copilot, then it's slightly different. That's why I just copied the body part. Okay, and then we'll go to the next part. So that's all the setup you need. Then next, I prefer to use, in this example, VS Code, GitHub Copilot. And I usually do this out of a folder. So you create a folder somewhere. This is a completely empty folder. We can open that in VS Code. So this is a completely empty folder. And the first thing you want to do is set up your MCP. I did Control-Shift-P, or you can type MCP. And generally, I do the setting in the workspace. You can do a user configuration. So this MCP is set up for your entire user account, and you can use it anywhere in every features, in every code session. But for me, I just want to, for now, for this demo, I just want to add it to my workspace. So if I do that, it will say, oh, you can't find the file. That's okay. Just create the file. So you see what it does is VS Code creates a .VS Code folder and then puts an mcp.json file here. Okay. Now, generally, the syntax is something like this. Okay. Now we don't actually we have what is called a online MCP. So rather than a local MCP, I'm just gonna paste like a Okay, so this is my online MCP server. So yeah, let me start the tool, and then it's red, and then it came back and say there are 15 tools available. So if I say list environments, so you will ask, okay, do I want to allow this tool? And for my demo, I'm just gonna allow the tool in this workspace. So anytime within this folder, it will be able to run this tool. So very quickly, this is coming back with our first query, which are all the environments available to me. Let's do a bit more. What flows do I have in the Flow Studio demo? I find as you do this kind of exploration, you may want to write it to a file. That really helps the agent have some context next time you come back to this folder. So we can just tell it to write this down to flows. We just tell it to write them down. So it will write a markdown file and list them into a file. So next time you reopen this folder, then the agent has a lot of context on what to do within this environment. So you see it's created a little markdown file. So things. And let's do one more query before we wrap up this introductory video. I want to say review the latest runs for each of these flows and give me a summary. So the Flow Studio MCP access the Power Platform through its backend APIs and is able to go and read not just your environment and flows, but actually your flow runs. It is able to rerun details, the errors, or even extract the input and output of individual run actions. So this really helps your flow not just to analyze and govern your flows, but also even to debug, to support, to even build flows. You could say, hey, clean up my flow, make it compliant with my coding practices, or you could use it as a kind of a deploying agent. You could say, compare the flows that I have between my dev and UAT environments and tell me what's different between these JSON. So many scenarios that you could do with this. We're just getting started with the tool. So it is doing a parallel fetch of, we have 17 flows, so it's gonna run a bunch of them, and then it's gonna come back. Okay, so it's come back and it's written the summaries to my markdown file. So if I have a look, it's also gonna generate a little table. So I have a flow, hello world, that's succeeded recently. I have a demo flow that's failed a few times. And then this is a demo environment I've had for a long time, so a lot of the flows has not been running recently. But yeah, see how it says most of the flows have no run history, so they have been triggered recently. So what I find really useful is you create a markdown file like this, and that's a summary in time. So you could tell it to let's review this next month. Okay, and that is our first demo. I hope you have you have fun trying the Flow Studio MCP and tell us what you like or what you wanted to do, and then have fun. Bye.